Hey everyone, welcome to Broadband News. The FCC has come out and said that they are very likely going to be implementing cybersecurity requirements for all broadband operators, and that could happen very soon. I'll be right back with more. Hey there, thanks for joining me. Rick Husey here with Quorum with Broadband News. And this is some news because up until now, broadband operators hopefully have been concerned about cybersecurity, but there's not been any kind of a mandate from the FCC for them to do this unless they were planning on getting certain funding from federal programs. For example, the first time this came up, I believe, was when the BEAD program was announced as part of the legislation. There were requirements for cybersecurity that they be implemented consistent with the NIST cybersecurity framework. And then as other programs have come out, that requirement was in there as well. For example, the latest USDA Reconnect funds required the cybersecurity be in there, cybersecurity plan, as well as the EACAM program. But now, and I have been saying this, when I've been seeing all of this and the way things were going, that broadband operators at some point in the future we're going to have to do cybersecurity. It just was apparent that this was something that the FCC was taking seriously. And what is the impetus for this? It could be a couple of things. One, it could be the election and the fact that Chairwoman Rosenworcel is trying to get this now put forward while she is in charge. But also we have the virus that was out, not virus, just the hacking from China. The salt, what was it? Salt, I got it right here. Hang on. I think it's this. Salt Typhoon. Yeah, the Salt Typhoon. I'll go through this a little bit also here in a minute. But so I want to make sure you're aware of this, that this was going to be coming down and probably pretty quickly because they've already got, in a sense, where they're saying they have the authority to do this under CALEA. So I'll talk a little bit about CALEA, what that is, and show you where they're getting that authority from, and what this is all going to mean for you if you are a broadband service provider. So, and this would be for any telecommunications company, phone provider, broadband service provider, what you might call a communications service provider. Actually, that's what the FCC is calling you in here. So, see, I've linked to this. This is a link to to a site where you can download the news release. We'll take a look at the news release now, and then a few other things. So we see here, Chairwoman Rosenworcel announces the agency action to require telecom carriers to secure their networks, proposes swift steps to strengthen U.S. communications from future cyber attacks. Again, this is dated December 5th. Following recent reports involving an intrusion by foreign actors into U.S. communications networks, and that's particularly that Salt Typhoon hacking, FCC Chairwoman Jessica Rosenworcel proposed urgent action to safeguard the nation's communication systems from real and present cybersecurity threats, including from state-sponsored cyber actors from the People's Republic of China. The chairwoman announced today that the FCC will act to ensure telecommunication companies are required to secure their networks. So again, this is it's been moving in this direction, and now we're seeing that it's probably going to be required of all broadband operators. The cybersecurity of our nation's communications critical infrastructure is essential to promoting national security, public safety, and economic security, she said. As technology continues to advance, so does the capabilities of adversaries, which means the U.S. might or must adapt and reinforce our defenses, while the Commission's counterparts in the intelligence community are determining the scope and impact of the Salt Typhoon attack. We need to put in place a modern framework to help companies secure their networks and better prevent and respond to cyber attacks in the future. The chairwoman has shared with her fellow commissioners a draft declaratory ruling finding that Section 105 of CALEA, Communications Assistance for Law Enforcement Act, affirmatively requires telecommunications carriers to secure their networks from unlawful access of interception of communications, which is ironic because what CALEA does is it allows the federal government to intercept the communications if requested. So under CALEA, as a internet service provider or a phone company of any kind, anybody that's providing facilities-based communication services, you're required to be able to assist lawful intercept request to provide a live intercept of communications data from one of your subscribers. And this would be obviously in very serious situations where you get a court order to do that, which could have something to do with, let's say, terrorism or child pornography, or not yeah, maybe child pornography or that kind of thing. Something that'd be very serious that the FCC wants to make sure that they can kind of get, it's almost like it's like a live tap, like you would do a phone tap on somebody, except this would be a live data tap where would be streaming in a specific format everything that the FBI, for example, would request. So that's been in place for a long time. It's been something that's been required of broadband service providers since I think it was 2005. So this is kind of making sure that we can't have foreign entities doing the same thing to our citizens, but in this case it would be any citizen, not somebody who's committing a crime. It would be any citizen, and it would be a foreign entity that would be doing it. But I just think it's a little bit ironic. That action is accompanied by a proposal that would require communication service providers to submit an annual certification of the FCC attesting that they've created, updated, and implemented a cybersecurity risk management plan which would strengthen communications from future cyber attacks. And most likely that plan is going to be based around the NIST cybersecurity framework that's already being put forward as a framework to follow, again, under the BEAD program. And then other programs have been the same way. The tribal grant program that's got cybersecurity out there right now, that is based on the NIST. So they're all basing it pretty much around the NIST framework. I'll go ahead, and I didn't put it in there, but I'll put a link to the NIST framework in that description of the video as well. So everything that you should be seeing here will be up there as well. So if adopted, this declaratory ruling would take effect immediately. So again, they feel that they have the authority under CALEA to do that. In addition, the draft notice of proposed rulemaking would seek comment on cybersecurity risk management requirements for a wide range of communications providers. The proposal would also seek comment on additional ways to strengthen the cybersecurity posture of communication systems and services. So there'll be a rulemaking, and it will have opportunities for comments there, but it sounds like it would go into effect immediately as soon as they declare or do this declaratory ruling. Last month, the Commission proposed cybersecurity risk management plan requirements for submarine cable landing applicants and licensees. In addition, the Commission previously proposed that participants in the emergency alert system and wireless emergency alerts maintain cybersecurity risk management plans. So this is the section they're talking about. So this is a link to this. You've got basically CALEA here, and you see section 105 right there. You click on that. Short and sweet. Telecommunications carrier shall ensure that any interception of communications or access to call identifying information affected within its switching premises can be activated only in accordance with a court order or other lawful authorization, and with the affirmative intervention of an individual officer or employee of the carrier acting in accordance with regulations prescribed by the Commission. So I guess under that, they're saying that they need to protect their network. I looked at this pretty quickly, but that's what I'm reading. This is section 105. As far as I can tell, that's all that is there. Now, it does say a telecommunications carrier, and it's interesting because the FCC has, under the Communications Act, you've got telecommunications carriers, and then you've got information services, which would be broadband operators. So you're like, well, maybe this doesn't apply to broadband, but they say in this press release we're just looking at, communication service providers plus, again, CALEA was extended to broadband services and VoIP services back in 2005 through another ruling through the FCC. So they're kind of going back to that ruling to be able to do this. And frankly, this is all something that should be done anyway. It's the kind of thing where we need to have this in place for the security of our country as well as security of our citizens. And you might be thinking, what about the change in the administration with President Trump's administration coming in? That means Brendan Carr, who is currently on the FCC, very active on the FCC, he will be the new commissioner. He is also in favor of cybersecurity. And he actually, when he got briefed on this Salt Typhoon and what that's doing, he said it made him want to destroy his phone. So I think he would be on board with this. So I don't think this is going to be the kind of thing where he's going to fight it just because it's the other side doing this. So I would anticipate that he would support this if this goes into effect. He would not be pulling it back if it goes into effect prior to him taking over. I think it's going to go into effect prior to him taking over. I don't think any commissioners are going to be fighting on this. That's my thought anyway. Then here you've got, this is the fact sheet on the implications of Salt Typhoon attack and FCC response. Kind of goes over that this is what's, this is what we found. December 4th, U.S. Security Agency confirmed reports that foreign actors, state-sponsored by China, infiltrated at least 8 U.S. communications companies, compromising sensitive systems and exposing vulnerabilities in critical telecommunication infrastructure. This was part of a massive espionage campaign that has affected dozens of countries. Talks about the impact and needing robust cybersecurity, how the FCC is responding, which is basically what we're talking about today. What they're going to do here as far as, again, a new compliance framework, those requirements, seeking broader action, the public comment that I was talking about, and why it matters, those kinds of things. So it's not very long, but you might want to check that out. Again, a lot of this, because of Salt Typhoon, is what's the impetus for this. Plus, it's needed. What do I have here? Then, I was going to let you know. So if you're a broadband operator and you've not looked at this before, you're going to have to, it's something you've got to be looking into now. So if you go to our website at zquorum.com and you look under products, you'll see Cybersecurity. That's our brand name for cybersecurity. A little play on words with Zquorum. Then you've got down here CALEA services. You can look at both of those. They're both required. This is already required. If you're a broadband service provider and you're not doing it, you got to do that. That's CALEA. And then this is, again, going to be a requirement right here for cybersecurity for broadband service providers. When you do that, you'll get to a little microsite on each one of those on cybersecurity. You'll see that. I can read about that. Lots of information up here, some resources. The services that we can provide, which is Security Operations Center as a service, 24/7 monitored security. It's the kind of thing where both of these things, let's say cybersecurity and then CALEA, which I'll talk about here in a moment, both of these things are, certainly going to be mandated. Cybersecurity will be mandated, and CALEA is mandated. It's the kind of thing where to be able to put all of the infrastructure in place on something like this, and that's infrastructure and people, and in both cases, that's kind of a significant investment in technology. So for cybersecurity, for example, in order to be able to implement a robust cybersecurity plan, you really need somebody watching the network 24/7. You need to have technology in place that finds your vulnerabilities and then looks for patterns and really behavior, not so much patterns as behavior that is out of the ordinary, that then determines, hey, somebody's in here doing something, then having somebody act on that right away. That's all very expensive, but you can do it as a service. It's much less expensive because then you're leveraging the economies of scales of lots of people using that service. So we can help there again with a cybersecurity operations center as a service, so that you don't need to worry about the people and the technology. A lot of that's put in place for you. You'll have stuff on your network, but that's provided to you, the kinds of agents that need to be. When I say agents, I mean software agents, equipment, that kind of thing, that out there watching your network, and then the people watching for that as well. That's a very important aspect of that. And EDR, endpoint detection and response, those kinds of things can all be set up for you. And then as far as CALEA is, again, this is the requirement that every internet service provider be able to assist a law enforcement agency when they come knock on your door with a court order and say, I need you to do a live intercept of this subscriber or these 2 subscribers or whoever it is that is on your network that they want to see what's going on. You need to be able to assist with that in a very timely manner. I mean, I'm talking like 24, 48 hours. They want to be knowing that you're going to be able to assist them. And that's another one that's really expensive to keep in place because these things do happen, but they don't happen that often. Cybersecurity is an ongoing thing. That's the kind of thing where you need to have it in place, and it's an ongoing thing. And again, it can be done as a service. This is something else that can be done as a service. We can get you connected up with trusted third-party services where you don't have to have all of the people in place and the equipment in place, so that when the FBI comes, you've got it all ready to go. We will help you get it set up where if you do get a CALEA request, you reach out to us, and we, with the resources and expertise that we have and the people that we have on board to be able to do this, we can get you where the court order is verified. That's an important step that has to be verified. The court order is verified. Then you'd be very quickly sent out equipment, probes that would be, you'd be told where to put those in your network to be able to do that live intercept. And then we would, the resources that we had would help process the mitigation of that data, not mitigation, the mediation of that data, so that it then gets delivered to the law enforcement agency that's requesting it in the format that they need it. So that's all very difficult to get in place if you try to do that. Like if you're a big, if you're Comcast or AT&T, somebody, you might have your own in-house CALEA, but a lot of people are using trusted third parties to do that because it is so costly and it doesn't happen every day. Okay, the bigger you are, the more of these you're going to get. But even if you're a small operator, you could be getting a request for something like this because it could turn out that particular person that the FBI or whoever it is needs to keep an eye on happens to live in your town or is residing there some temporarily or whatever. You need to be able to respond to that again quickly. And if you don't, $10,000 a day, if the FBI comes in or whoever it is comes in and you're not able to respond in a timely manner, you're talking about a fine of up to $10,000 per day for you to, until you can provide that information. And, then you've got to get that all going and working. So that can really add up quick. So that's not something you want to mess around with either. So this is already required. And again, the cybersecurity part is going to be required, and you should have this in place anyway. So you might as well reach out to us. So go ahead and do that. If this is something that you need, check that out. You'll see our contact information here. You can go to our website again and look for that. Reach out to us by email or give us a call. We will be happy to tell you how we can assist you there. And again, our whole purpose of being in business at Z-Quorum is to try to help you be more successful as a broadband operator and to reduce your costs and to be able to take advantage of economies of scales. So especially, again, if you're not one of the biggest ISPs that sometimes can afford these things, whether it's these kinds of services I'm talking about, if it's help desk services, if you need to want to provide technical support 24/7 for your broadband customers, we can do that for you. If it's diagnostics for DOCSIS or fiber, if you're a cable provider and you'd like to do proactive network maintenance or management of your DOCSIS 3.1 profiles, those kinds of things, a lot of it's very expensive to develop that software. So we've got that already developed for you, and we can get that to you as a service. So hope you give us a call if that's something that you're interested in. We'd love to help you. So thanks for watching today. If you have any questions, if you're watching this and you have any questions, feel free to drop them in a comment there on YouTube, and I will get that answered for you, and I'll respond on YouTube. So if you're watching this and have questions, feel free to do that as well. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. If this was helpful for you, if you were not aware of this, and now you know, and that's good, then go ahead and give me a thumbs up on that. And if you're not subscribed to our channel, make sure you click the subscribe button and make sure that the little bell is rung, and you'll be notified about this and other things that are important to your business. Thanks again. See you next time. Bye-bye.